Hi, welcome to the Jones Journal Coaches Corner. We've got a great show for you tonight. Sports reporter Derrick Smith will be interviewing head coach Dave Martin. Then, as a special tonight, we have two student section interviews. First, junior Jake Lanier will interview senior wideout Tye Tucker. And then we will have an interview with sophomore Zoe Tucker with senior wideout Elijah Reed. Now, here is the interview with Coach Martin.
Hi, this is Derrick Smith with the Jones Journal. This is Coach's Corner. We're here this week with head coach Dave Martin. Dave, how you doing?
Hey, appreciate having you out here, Derrick, man. Excited about the week, big district game.
Yeah, for sure. Wanted to first talk to you a little bit about last week's matchup with Crossing Christian, how that game went, and how you felt about the performance.
Overall, there's definitely some things to learn from it, special team-wise. Definitely have to make some adjustments. We got to definitely improve in that area. Offensively, trying to get things more balanced, to where people have to defend us, so we run and pass a lot more balanced, those types of things. So, trying to hit some of those focal points where we can go out there and continue to make it tougher to defend us. We challenged our defensive guys a lot. They were a spread team that was going to throw it quite a bit. We wanted to bring some different pressures and a little tighter coverage. It felt like we did really well in that department. We gave up 4 first downs, and that was it. So, overall pleased, but it's still room to improve and definitely learn some things throughout that process.
Definitely. Yeah, so this year the offense has been a little bit different from years past, where your Jones and under you has become really a high tempo,
right.
high octane offense. This year's been different, not in a negative way, just a little different. Talk a little bit, is that due to youth or just kind of the way the seasons went, or how do you think?
Well, we want to be able to control that from a standpoint of our guys being able to adjust, whether we're playing fast or whether it's something that we do need to slow down some things and control the clock a lot more, and just being able to go from that fast tempo to a regular game speed per se, something like that. So those are some of the challenges that we look at from our kids' standpoint and how they have to adjust. So always trying to put some different things and phases to where they've got to learn, and still out there with quality people and competition. We've got to go out there and prove that to ourselves. So still, like I said before, man, there's always some learning opportunities in that, and we think that this team's still got a lot of room to grow and learn and improve, and that's the great part of it. We don't feel like we've hit the ceiling with this bunch at all.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into this next part. So before we move on to this week's matchup, I wanted to ask you, about 3/4 of the way through the season now, where do you feel compared to where you were maybe in preseason or maybe a quarter of the way through the season? Where do you feel you guys are as it pertains to your ultimate goal every year of making it to the state finals?
Right, it's part of the process. We've learned some things even from a personnel standpoint of how we've had to change some things up from where we were at in the start of the season to be able to look at and run the marathon of a season and be able to stay as healthy as possible. So, I think we're on the right track in that regard of where we've got to play certain kids, and we look at the numbers of snaps that guys take, because man, we expect every time our kids go out on the field that we're not going to take any plays off, and then it's going to be what we call longhorn speed when we're out there on the field, and we don't accept anything less. And you kind of got to gauge that of when you got some guys that the few that we do have play on both sides now, you can look at, can a kid go out there and take 160 snaps at the level that we're expecting, so you kind of got to gauge that a little bit.
Right. Okay, and then lastly, we can move on to this week's matchup with Kellyville. Usually a tough opponent, Kellyville. Sure. They've got a good program up there, and it's been kind of a battle all the way since. I remember back my senior year, you went to team camp up at Kellyville,
Right.
So it's kind of been a yearly deal with them. Talk a little bit about their program and the little brewing rivalry that you
Well,
guys
you know,
have up there.
they've got this year, man. They've got a very dynamic type of offense, man. They're putting up a lot of points, and you know, each week that they've gone out, they've put up a ton of points. So it's going to challenge us from the defensive side for sure, and that's also where you look at the offense has got to go out there and control things on their part, because you want to try to limit the number of snaps that those type of people get too. You know. And we're not going to play the tennis match, man, where it's just back and forth, back and forth. We're going to go play defense. You know, it's not, we don't have any intentions of trying to just go out and outscore people. You know, we're going to defend and do a great job. We're still going to be, you know, high-powered on the offensive side, but we feel like we do the same thing on the defensive side as well. But they're going to pose a great challenge with that. You know, they do some really good things in their running game. They've got some guys that rush the ball really well for them. So we've got to go out and we've got to line up well. We've got to tackle well. And those are going to be the things that are going to be, you know, the essential parts of us going and playing really great defense and then giving the offense an opportunity to be great.
Yeah, and then that's kind of been a trend these past few weeks. It seems like your defense has really lended a hand to the offense and given them more opportunities.
They have. We're growing on defense, man, and it's getting better and better as you know, the year goes on, and that's the things that we want to see, that, you know, the maturation process of, you know, where our team's at, and you know, to go and meet the goals that we set for ourselves. You got to go out and you got to be great in all three phases. And definitely defense has improved. We've got to improve in the special teams department, and then our offense just got to stay consistent.
Yeah, and on that special teams, a lot of people, especially at this level, they don't take into account the hidden yardage in those special teams, and you guys do really well at that, both in the kickoff game and the return game.
Right.
You guys have done really well this year. Can you talk a little bit about how that's evolved throughout the year and helped you?
Well, you know, it's kind of one of the things, like we talk to the kids, it's an explosive play, whether it's in the return game or whether it's the coverage game, and you're setting your offense or defense up. And I mean, you can put a lot of pressure on your opponent if you focus and you win in that area as well. And you know, we try to keep things to where, you know, kind of keep some people guessing, you know, a lot of times, and we're still going to be very aggressive in the special teams department, and that's one of the things that, you know, we're always going to focus on, and you know, some things that we feel like there is still a lot of room for us to improve there.
Right. And to wrap this up, we had a reader email me and ask me a question that I was going to pass along to you. So basically, you grew up in this town. I mean, you're organic to Jones and everything, and everyone knows kind of your backstory. So you've been here for the better part, over 10 years now as a head coach. What has been your path or your journey that you've learned from start to finish now, and kind of how you've evolved with the kids in the town?
Well, man, you know, Derrick, it's kind of like what the gray hair on my head, or lack thereof hair. Man, it's just so much of a seasoning process. You know, I remember from, you know, day one, my first year as a head coach here in 2008, and then everything that has gone along through that path. And, you know, you do continue to learn and grow as a coach, and it doesn't matter how many years that you've done it. You learn a ton. It's just like some of the things that we've got to go through right now with the COVID protocols. Man, I've learned a lot. You know, just going through that process of doing some things different, how we've trained our kids differently, and you know, of that's kind of come to a forefront, even through our summer workouts and some of the different types of things that we've done there. So you know, I mean, it's as long as you're always willing to learn. You know, I've got some guys that on my staff that's done it for a long time, and that's one of the things that I feel like that keeps our staff just really strong. Is, man, I've got some guys that really want to continue to learn, and they're not just set in their ways, and they know that we can evolve as the game evolves too.
Right. Well, Coach, I appreciate it, and good luck tomorrow night at Kellyville, and hopefully we'll come out with another win and keep this season plugging along.
Sure, man. Derrick, great to have you on here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. For the Jones Journal, I'm Derrick Smith. This was Coach's Corner. Thank you.
Howdy, my name is Jake Lanier. I'm with the student section with the Jones Journal. Joining me today is Tye Tucker. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, tell me a little bit about yourself in football or in general.
Well, my name's Tye. Football is probably my favorite sport. I like to hunt and fish. I play football, basketball, baseball, and track. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Man, that's a lot of sports. How are you balancing all that together?
Just by season, just playing everything that comes.
Yeah. So are you doing a lot of conditioning in between seasons, or are you just doing kind of all year round kind of?
Yeah, just year-round conditioning in each sport.
I could see that. So over the summer, your stats have come up a little bit. You stayed about the same height, but you have put on some weight. I'm not calling you fat or anything, I promise. So what have you been doing to get more muscular, if you will?
A lot of gym time, a lot of rice and chicken, some chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, just diet.
Yeah, I can understand that. So when you're out on the field, what is your best attribute to the team? What's your best quality?
I think my best quality is I play 110% every play. I just go hard.
I could see that in some of your replays. I mean, you look like you go hard out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of other players have some really cool pregame rituals. Are you one of those players?
Not really. I don't talk a lot pregame. Just focused.
Yeah. Man. Well, on the topic of sports, that happens to be what we're talking about today. Do you have any favorite sport movies, kind of in general?
I like Waterboy. It's probably my favorite sport movie.
Waterboy is a good one. Some people call me Waterboy. They're like, hey, you're the Waterboy. Well, who is, so you said you don't really have a pregame ritual. Do you listen to music in the locker room?
Yeah.
Quite a bit?
Yeah.
What do you have, like a list of songs you like to listen to, like a top 3 maybe?
I couldn't name them off the top of my head.
Couldn't name them off?
Probably not.
Are you gonna drop like a playlist or some sort or anything?
Yeah, I got a playlist.
Oh
on
man,
Spotify.
you should drop that on Spotify. Well, what's the hunting and fishing? I'm sorry, I had to bring this back up. I mean, I'm a fishing man. Like to hunt too. Is there a favorite animal you like to hunt?
I like waterfowl, duck, and geese. It's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Oh man, tell you what, I'm more of a deer man myself.
Yeah.
And we are in season for it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. So you got quite a bit of college offers going on, quite a bit. Do you how is that working out for you?
It's going pretty good. I got Southwestern, Oklahoma State, and East Central University right now.
I think you're about 3 on top of me right now, for being completely honest. But yeah. So before we close this out, do you have any interesting facts you let people know?
I got a titanium rod in my right leg.
Got a titanium rod in your right leg.
Yeah.
Are you like some sort of cyborg, or
Yeah,
is that from an injury?
I'm like
or?
9% cyborg.
90% cyborg. I think I'm 0%. But yeah. Well,
Yeah.
tell you what, that is pretty interesting, if I do say. This has been the student section with Jake Lanier and Tye Tucker. We're gonna sign on out of here. Hope you all have a good one.
Hi, I'm Zoe Tucker here at the student section of the Jones Journal. Today I'm interviewing our starting wide receiver, Elijah Reed.
Thank you for having me.
So, with all the new protocols due to COVID, how is your film, practice, games, travel, how's that affected?
It's very different. Got to wear masks like 24/7 every time we're in the locker room. Even when we're in film or in the weight room, the only times we don't have masks is out in the practice field, so it takes some getting used to.
It's also affected your schedule. How are y'all adapting with the constantly changing schedule?
Well, we didn't know if we're going to be able to play football at first this year, so just not knowing it's pretty nerve-wracking.
So I know y'all have been practicing hard. Has any of that paid off? I know the recruiting process has. Tell me a little bit about that.
Starting sophomore year, I was a little bit smaller, not getting much looks, but then got a little bigger over the summer, junior and senior year, and that's when I started getting looks, and just working hard at practice and off practice, it's really paid off.
Yeah, I can see you're an All-American, right?
Yep.
So what are your plans after high school?
I really want to be a coach. My dad and my brother, they're both coaching, and I honestly don't know what I'd do without football, so I just want to stay with it as long as I can.
All right, thank you, Elijah.
Appreciate it.
I'm Zoe Tucker. That's all from the student section.
Thank you for joining us on the Coach's Corner. Be sure to tune in to the YouTube stream of the Jones Longhorns and the Kellyville Ponies on Thursday evening. This has been Matt Boggs with the Jones Journal, sharing stories of excellence in our community.